I didn't grow up in a house with a lot of rules. My parents were divorced. I was at home with my mom. It was loose. Nobody was running a tight ship. You kind of just figured things out as you went. But when I stayed with my grandparents, that was a whole different world entirely. My grandfather got up early. He went to bed early. There was one rule in the house. No one was ever to call after 10 p.m. And it wasn't up for discussion. He just told me, Matt, phone should not ring after 10 o'clock. Now, this is in high school. Cell phones didn't exist yet. We're talking about a landline, one phone in the house. And if that phone rang after 10 p.m., you had better hope someone was in the hospital because my grandfather was going to be the one to answer it. And whoever was on the other end was going to have a very short conversation. I remember being very deliberate with my friends. Listen, do not call me after 10 p.m. because if you call me after 10 p.m., my grandfather's going to answer the phone and you're not going to get a hold of me. And the conversation that you're about to have isn't going to be a pleasant one because he's probably been in bed for a while and you just woke him up. The other rule, very simple, but this was a big rule. My grandmother, stay out of her kitchen. And I mean this literally. You did not go in there. You did not open a cabinet. You did not touch anything on the stove. That was her space, and she ran it. If you wanted to go in there thinking you're going to make a sandwich, she was going to tell you exactly where you stood. So, 2 rules, simple, very clear, 0 negotiations on those 2 rules. Now, I've got a 14-year-old daughter, and I'll be honest with you. She cooks in the kitchen, and I don't give a shit. As long as she knows what she's doing and she cleans up after herself, go right ahead and do whatever you want. Just don't leave the stove on and burn my house down. The phone situation is it's a completely different animal. It's not a landline ringing in a quiet house after 10 p.m. It's a device that never turns off. It's connected to every person she knows, and it's in her pocket all the time. There's no clean rule for that. You're just managing it consistently and hoping you get it right. And that's the thing I keep coming back to. My grandparents had rules because the rules made sense how life worked. I'm trying to build structure in a world they couldn't even recognize today. So tonight, that's what we're getting into. The rules we grew up under, the ones we've kept, the ones we've thrown out versus the ones we've had to invent from scratch because nobody handed us a playbook. This is your first time here. I'm Matt. This is Kevin. And this is Vito.
Hello.
So I kind of want to set the stage for this topic tonight because I was talking to Vito the other day about the show tonight. And, Vito grew up with rules. And he had rules for himself, and he had a sister in there, and he said she had different rules than him. But when we flip this later, then we talk about rules for our kids. Well, Vito had a kid, but he didn't raise his kid.
No. I didn't raise him, but I had rules. His mother didn't. Big thing.
You had rules, but the mom didn't.
I had rules. And the mother didn't have rules for him. He kind of like had free reign to do whatever he wanted.
Okay.
And that's
right.
why she's got a mess on her hands.
All right. So Vito's correcting me. That's his situation. Now, Kevin, he grew up with his brothers. He had rules. Now Kevin is married, has a kid. Now he's having his own rules for his kid. So before we go into our kids' rules, let's start with our rules. So what was the rule in your house growing up that was non-negotiable, no debate, no appeal? If you broke it, you fucked up and you were going to do it. I mean, you
paid the price.
And you paid the price.
Well, I'm going to say when we were small, I'm talking like maybe like under the age of 15 and under, we used to like my brother and I used to roam the streets. My oldest brother, I can't say anything too much because he was 10 years older than me. So he had different set of rules than my brother and I because we only were a year apart. Because he was older, he was going out, so he had different rules with what we had. But he had those same kind of rules as he grew up, you know what I mean? So from 15 and under, I mean, I know everybody said, oh, when the lights come on, the street lights, you got to be home. Well, that was true because when my parents, we roamed around the streets with our bikes, I wanted to hang out with these kids. Being Italian, come from Italy, and, you wanted to fit in. So if they were staying out late, you wanted to stay out late with them. Okay, well, you come home late, you got your ass beat. Hey, you got your ass beat. You can't run because you know what? They don't come and get you right there at that point in time. You walk in late, they don't say nothing.
So what's the latest you ever came home after the street lights came on?
Midnight.
Oh, at how old?
I was like 11.
Oh, come on.
Midnight.
Come on.
Yeah, midnight. Well, the thing is, we were like a couple blocks away. We were just running. But, the thing was, we were at that age where, girls, you're starting to know girls. You're starting so, and the girls were, yeah, but you know what? That was like summertime. Everybody was out.
Vito, you're 11 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're 11 years old.
Listen, I'm
okay,
telling
let
you.
Let me finish. You're 11 years old. Your parents didn't, you said you came home at midnight?
Midnight.
At 11. Kevin, if your kid and my daughter decided to come home at midnight,
I paid the price
and
for that.
11, I'm just saying, the price.
Oh, yeah, I paid the
Shit.
price.
There'd
Listen.
be cops out there looking for my kid at 12 o'clock.
No, because
at
you know
11
what?
years
all
old.
The,
Yes.
all the kids were doing the same thing. But here's the funny part. My parents never said anything right off the jump street. You walk in the house and you think, oh, here, I'm going to get it right there. Oh, because they think you're going to run.
But 11?
They didn't. You know what? They come and get you?
Come on.
When you're in your bed and you're sleeping, then they wake you up. Then you get it. But no. But see, the thing was, I had a cousin that lived across the street, and he was like 3 years older than me. So I was hanging around with him. He was a distant cousin, like fifth cousin down the line. So when he's out running around, I was running around with him. My brother was with me. So I was like, I went in late. My brother went in late. And then, my cousin across the street, he went in. That's how it was. And there was another distant cousin next block over, and he was part of the group. And then there was a couple other kids, but there wasn't just like 2-3 guys. I mean, there was a bunch of us, and you wanted to fit in.
I mean, it's like, what do you
Not
tell
my dad. Not my dad.
Oh, no.
My dad, I lived in a small town.
I didn't go with my dad either. That's what I'm trying to say. I did it. I broke the rule. I broke that rule, and I paid the price.
How many more times did you do it?
More than once.
Right.
You don't learn.
No. Trust me, I learned the hard way because I was, 12, 13 years old, and when the street lights come on, you better start making your way home, or you better make a phone call, let me know you're on your way home. I did the same thing, 13 years old, same thing, and my dad drove around all around town. Everybody knew my dad's truck, and when I was out and about and they saw my dad's truck, they would let me know because I'd be riding my bike around. They're like, hey, your dad's been riding around looking for you. And if my dad caught me out on the street, my bike got thrown in the back of the truck. I had to walk home. And then when I got home, I wasn't even allowed in the house.
Wait a minute. Excuse me. You say he found you,
Found me.
took the bike off, you
Took
threw
the
it in the
bike.
back of the truck, and you had to walk home.
Had to walk home.
Oh,
Had to walk home. And if I wasn't home in a certain time, no matter what, he met me at the front door. I didn't get in the house without an ass beating. And he'd beat my ass. And it took probably two times, I think, is all it took for me at 13 years old.
I didn't
Because up in South Dakota, we're allowed to start driving at 14.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing. But
Yeah, you don't got nothing to say about 14. Now you're telling me about coming in at midnight here. He's driving a freaking vehicle at 14. He got me beat by 1 year.
Well, okay. So what vehicle you driving at 14? How you able to drive at 14?
Look how big he
got
is.
a permit. We got a permit in South Dakota because
I couldn't even see over the dash at 14.
you had permits.
Okay.
And you could drive without an adult from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. without an adult at 14 years old.
Wow, man.
I took drivers.
That has to be-
I took drivers at an 8th grade.
That has to be a rule in your state because I know here in Ohio,
No,
there was
it's not.
you weren't able to do
16.
any driving till 15 and a half.
15 and a
Yeah.
half.
Yeah.
Here in Ohio, 15 and a half, you get your permit.
Yeah,
Right.
You
And
still had
then
to drive
get-
with somebody.
You get your
Yeah.
license at 16.
Right, but when you turn 16,
Yeah,
you turn 16, you still have a curfew. You can still drive by yourself until you're 18, and then you can drive after curfew.
I don't know.
South,
about
South
curfew.
Dakota, South Dakota, it was 16. 16. When you turn 16, you could drive 24 hours a day. We didn't have to.
Once you got your license.
At 16, I got a driving, an unrestricted
No,
driving.
about no curfew here.
Oh
When
yeah,
I grew up, there was no curfew after.
There's-
I'm still hung up on the fact that you were 11 years old and parents didn't do anything about you not being home
They
until midnight.
did some. I told you, I got my ass beat when I got home.
Okay.
You know, well, not,
If my
not
daughter's
at the
11.
time I got home. When I was in bed, that's when he got me right there.
My daughter's 11 years old and she's supposed to be home, and she's relatively 4 or 5 houses between right and left of where we live, and she's not home until midnight. Yeah, the cops are getting called. Where the hell is my 11-year-old?
No,
I'm not waiting for her to get home so I
telling
can
you, what
let
do
her
you
go to
get-
sleep and I
Listen.
pull her up at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning and tell her she didn't come home
Hey.
on time. I mean, come on.
yeah.
Okay.
Matt, you want to believe it? I don't fucking care.
No. It's not that I don't believe it. I just think to myself, wow, your parents really let you. I thought I did.
No,
That's
man,
really not a rule.
It was just, you know what? We were trying to fit in, you know, because the thing is, when you seem like you're an outsider, you know, people don't want you to hang around. You know, you spoke a different language, you spoke broken English.
So
you
you're
know-
saying you did it. You're saying that was kind of okay because you were Italian and
No, because I was Italian. It was just because you want to fit in. You know, you were looked upon like an outsider because, one, didn't speak the language correctly. So they said, like, we don't want him around.
so nobody else that you were out with was like, hey, I gotta go home.
No, they were hanging out outside. I'm not kidding you. They were old. You know, I mean, there was kids older than me.
I think that's why I didn't hit on Kevin driving at 14 because I was still fixated on you're an idiot. Being fucking 11 years old and can't come home.
yeah.
Oh my god.
But no, but that was the thing. You know what I'm
all
saying?
right, so let's talk about this because we had talked about this beforehand. You said you had rules that were different from your sister.
Oh yeah.
So what time did your sister come home?
Oh, she had to be home before dark. That no ifs ands about it. No. She's the girl. Oh, and my dad used to tell us, not my older brother, my brother John and myself. He's a year older than me. Anything happens to her goes double for you. That's
I can see that. I mean, that happened with my son.
Man, I'm not kidding. That poor girl went through hell. I'm not kidding. She wasn't allowed to wear no makeup. She wasn't allowed to go out. She wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend. I mean, when she turned 18 years old, for her birthday, and because I always say, hey, what do you want for your birthday? She goes, really? I said, yeah. She goes, take me out to the nightclub. So I took her.
Wait, how old was she?
Huh?
I gotta know how old she was.
18.
18.
Okay.
I told you her 18th birthday. Are you listening?
At least okay. Well, I guess
18.
I wasn't. At least she's not
God damn.
13.
Resting dick face. But no, what I'm saying is, that's what she asked me. I said, okay. She is Michelle, you know, my one cousin. She's a distant cousin. She goes, can I bring her with me? I was okay. Now of all places, I know Kevin never heard of this place. I know you have. Remember the VIP?
Yeah, we've talked about VIP quite a
Okay.
few times here.
She wanted to go there. I'm like, oh, how the hell am I going to pull this off? So I asked one of my friends, I says, hey, man, I need some help. I says, my sister, for her 18th birthday, she wants to. He goes, why she can't get? I says, well, I knew the owner. You know, I knew people.
And
at
how
the
much
door.
older are you than her? So how many years older are you than her? 4. So you're of age to get in.
Yeah. So I knew the bouncers and that. So, you know, you have to do that palm thing, you know, slide a little cash on the side. I mean, it's a birthday. And, you know, me and my sister are tight. We're close. So I said, whatever you do, you stick by my side. I go, minute you change your tune or whatever, I'm dragging your ass and I'm taking you home. It says, you do what I tell you. No ifs, ands about it. So we're in there. Who you think was the first person that tried to hit on her?
Okay, well, I'm not concerned about who hit on her.
But this is the funny. I have to read. Boom Boom Mancini. I know him. You know, I knew his brother when his brother was alive. He goes, hey, Vito, how's it going? And he goes, who's this? I go, it's my sister. And I said, listen, she's off limits. That's my sister. You know the rule. The rule was you don't talk to no sister, no ex-wife, no girlfriend, nothing. That's the rule.
Okay. So did you get her home late ever? And what were the
No.
consequences?
No, I brought her home.
So she never
no,
broke
no, that
rule
was
with
the
you.
rule. I told
But
her.
she never broke the rule with you.
No, I took her back at 11 o'clock because that's what was her curfew was 11 o'clock. So I brought her home at 11 o'clock. Then I went back out.
He just couldn't stay home.
No, but you know, I mean, I did it because that was her birthday. That's what she wanted to do. But I was sweating bullets.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, my anxiety at bring her in the club.
I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done it.
It was like,
Wouldn't have done it. Maybe I would have, but I don't think today, the way I think today, I don't think I'd do it. Maybe
my brother did it to me.
I guess I probably would have at 21. Brought my sister out at 18. Why not? But how about you, Kev? Any rules that you had different from your brothers?
I don't think we did because we're pretty straightforward. I mean, my brother and I, Mom had one standing rule because she was a nurse. And that was when she worked nights, you weren't allowed in the house during the day.
Huh?
Younger, you weren't allowed in the house during the day. So
what'd you do? Have to stay in the garage?
nope, we went outside. Nope. She would come. No, she would come home. She would come home and she'd fill up the Gatorade cooler with Gatorade water, put it outside. She put some snacks outside, and that was your lunch.
All right, ding, 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 ding. I gotta ask, why weren't you allowed in the house?
Because she was a nurse and she had to sleep.
Oh, so
she's
while
home sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said she was at work.
Yeah, I
No.
thought she was at work.
My mom worked at.
Like, oh, okay.
Okay.
My
I
mom,
missed that.
My
No,
mom,
no, I kind of stand that part. Yeah,
my
no.
mom worked at night, and that was the
He
rule.
threw me for a minute there.
I'm like, God damn, man.
And the
you
other-
didn't come in the house.
Man, you grew up with some hard parents. How that goes? Wow.
And with dad was pretty simple too. You had keep things neat and order, and you weren't allowed to touch his toolbox unless he was home. So if you wanted to work on a car, and this is all the way up until I left home. If you
Fix a
wanted,
bike you stole and want to put back together and make
nope, had to go over Buddy's place, fix the bike.
Thief.
Yeah, nope, he wouldn't let us. And if he caught you, because he used to keep all of his wrenches lined up according to size, he used to keep all of his sockets, all of his screwdrivers.
Would he fix your bike then? If
No,
you could-
no, we had to wait. He would show us, but we had to wait till he was home and to use his tools.
but that was the same rule for all you guys.
It's for all of us.
Like
Yeah, but it was just you and your brother, right?
It was
Two.
just me and my brother. Yep. Now, where it differed as we got older, when I was a senior, when my brother was a freshman, of course, once again, here we go with the 14-year-old thing, right? My brother, we each had cars, and I always had a curfew at during the summertime because I used to play ball or I used to work late. I used to have to be home by around 12:30, 1 o'clock, no later than 1 o'clock, unless it was a special occasion. Now, my brother, when he turned 14, he could go out, but he couldn't drive. But he was allowed to be in at the same time I was. We go out with friends and stuff like that. So he had friends that were, of age 16 years old. So you go hang out with them, but he never had a different curfew than me.
Oh, but I mean, if say he was driving
He had to have the car home by 8,
8 o'clock,
and then he could go back out with his friends.
so the car was the
Right.
was the curfew. You had to bring the car in
Right.
8 o'clock. Man, that's
Right.
early.
What sucked about it is when I was 14, I had to come home at 8 o'clock, and I had to be back in by 10 o'clock until I was 16
So-
years old.
So the rules changed as you got
As I
older.
got older.
It made it easy for him.
Right. Right.
So not that.
And but when my brother was a freshman, I remember this incident. Marty Franken, if you're out there watching this, because I know you watched the podcast, I remember we used to talk about the senior bet. You guys ever have one of those?
Huh?
Senior bet? So back home, the senior bet, when you became a senior in high school, it was always about the senior guys would get together and find one freshman girl, and whoever got to sleep with her first won the bet. Each guy put in like $10. And at that time, there was probably about 25 guys in my class. So it was $250 to see. And we would all agree on just the one. It was one girl in the freshman class. My brother made the mistake because Marty Franken, you're out there, I know. Marty was dating the senior bet for a couple weeks. And my brother said something to him in football practice. And I was behind them when he said this. I was down the hall because we were going to watch film. And my brother said something to him, and I walk around the corner, and Marty has got my brother up against the wall, about this far off the ground, lifted up off the wall, and telling him all kinds of stuff. I didn't know what happened. Let him go. My brother went running, got home. I asked Marty, I said, what the hell happened? He goes, I ain't got to tell you shit. And so I'm like, okay. So I got home, and here my dad was at home. My brother had told my dad everything. Of course, he didn't tell him everything like he was supposed to, the truth. He told him his side of the story. Well, I get home, and my dad, I don't, to this day, I still don't know how my dad kicked my ass, literally kicked me in the ass up a flight of stairs. Kick me in my ass up a flight of stairs.
Kevin's going for trophy number 4.
So after I get done getting bounced off every fucking wall in the house,
Wow.
I called Marty and I said, dude, you and I have issues. And I said, what the hell happened? And he goes, he was talking about the senior bet and how he was going to say something, this and that. And I said, oh, okay. So I go upstairs, tell my dad, just got off the phone with Marty. This is what went on. He goes, oh, really, huh? He goes, but you still let him put hands on your brother. I said, I didn't even come around the corner until he already had his hands on him. He goes, why didn't you drop his ass right then and there?
I was going to say
that. I said, okay. And I got my ass kicked down a flight of stairs down to my bedroom. So, yeah.
What rule was being broken here?
The rule was that I didn't stick up for my brother.
There you go.
Okay. I'm trying to
I know that rule because that's just the same stuff like I was telling you earlier that my dad said. Anything happens to her, and he directed it to my brother and I, saying, anything happens to her goes double for you. So if something happened to her, which there was an episode, but we got that taken care of. I got expelled. My brother got expelled like 2 days. We had a frenzy because one kid, he's deceased now, so I'm not going to mention his name. I worked with his mother at a drugstore. My oldest brother worked with his father at the plant, can plant, make cans. So, and my sister was friends with the daughter. This kid made an inappropriate remark.
Towards your sister.
Towards my sister.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you let the kid up, right?
Oh, I'm not.
Well, you didn't break no rules. You let the kid up.
Oh, you know what happened? I got my desk, threw it across the freaking room, hit him. Now the teacher that was in charge of that class worked with my older brother at the can plant in the afternoon shift. So he was sticking up for him because he also was the football coach. So I ended up telling my brother what happened. He says, we'll take care of it. Got in his car. We went up to the football field for practice. Here comes, remember the actor Robert Conrad, Bubba Black Sheep? Mm-hmm. This guy's a spitting image of him. And the dude was super nice. His name was Coach Lynch, Robert Lynch. Guy was cool and he had that old style, gray sweats, referee shoes, the old Navy jacket, the old says coach on the back, clipboard and a whistle. I mean, it was like spitting image. So he goes, what are you guys doing here? Well, we called out 3 of the guys. He goes, well, you ain't allowed on here. My brother pushed him to the side and says, I don't give a fuck what you say. 3 people's going to pay the price. And we went on the field. I didn't even see it. My brother had a freaking ball-peen hammer. And he cracked the one kid right on the head. And he had a helmet. cracked him on the head. I go, man, what the hell you want to do? Go to prison?
Yeah, I was lucky you had a helmet on.
Yeah. So that all broke into a fight, and then there was other people broke it off. But then we told my older brother, I had to go to work. I told his mother, I said, I catch your son, you better have the eyes in the back of his head. And then my brother confronted the father. Next thing you know, the next day, the father shows up with this kid in front of my father and my sister. And my dad didn't know nothing. I mean, he didn't know nothing. And he looked at me and he's like, why you didn't tell me? Well, you said to handle it. You said if something goes wrong with her, it gets double for me. So I ain't letting nothing go on with her. So I took care of it. So he didn't say anything. The father says, I got a daughter. For my son to say something like that, and he made that kid apologize to my father, my mother, all three of us boys, and my sister. And I went like this to the father. I said, listen, you have a daughter. How would you like if I said that to your daughter? He goes, no, I understand that. I said, well, you know what? It's not over. He's going to pay the price. It's not over. He said, it should be over. No, it's not. My dad grabbed me like this, back of the head, pulled me back. He says, it's over. Let it go. You think I listened? No.
All right. So what's a rule that you broke as a parent or would have set differently if you had full control that your own parents never would have?
I can't comment because I didn't raise my son.
Well, again, this is like we talked about. This is a chance for you to say, yeah, this is how my kid was being raised. But if I was setting the rules, this is where I'd be.
Oh, okay.
So you're gonna have you're gonna have rules that your wife was having for your son that you just absolutely couldn't stand. And
there was no rules. Like I told you, my son was bringing girls up in his room, and
so he was like me then. He basically had no rules,
he was doing whatever he wanted,
or whatever rules there were.
She was telling me when she had to go clean his room, she was finding rubbers on the floor. He was fucking girls in his room. That would never go in my book.
And how old was he?
Teenager.
Yeah.
High school. That would never go. That would never fly in my book. And you know what? I told him. I says, he goes, oh, Dad. He said, I should be. I go, no. You're lucky you're living with your mother because you living with her, she let you do whatever the fuck you want. I said, me? No. You would have freaking rules. You'd have pulled that stunt with me? I said, I would have broke you in two. No, there's no way you'd be doing that shit in my house. I said, you do that shit outside of the house, and I don't know nothing about it.
What was the question again?
Okay, so the question is, what's a rule that you broke as a parent?
Okay.
Or would have set differently, which he's obviously stating he definitely would have said that differently. There would be no girls in there. What have you said differently if you had full control? He didn't have full control.
No.
So that question, he definitely has things he'd say. But you and I, who are setting our rules because we're raising our kids, we don't have a divorced spouse that's raising our kids for us.
Right.
We're doing it.
Yeah,
Right.
but there's a difference between you two. You girl and him a boy. That's a big difference.
So what rule have you broken that you normally wouldn't have done, especially your parents wouldn't have done? I've let a lot go.
Well, I think with my son,
I've let a lot go.
my son, I mean, I think it was a curfew thing, you know. We allow our son to stay out a lot more than I used to. I think, I think the biggest reason is just because of devices right now. You know, phones, you have Life 360 on your phone and stuff like that. You can actually see where they're at in real time. We never had that.
Oh, no.
So that we never had, our parents
Thank
never
God.
our parents never had the justification. God, I lied so many times on where the hell I was at, man.
No. Yeah.
I mean, or the three famous excuses. I'm just about out of gas. I need to stop and get gas. I had a flat tire,
I'm helping my friend Matt.
or my car
He
won't
ran out
start,
of gas.
or my car won't start.
Oh man.
So yeah, that was. I mean, but my son, he has a little bit more leeway than what I did as far as, we don't call him and ask him where he's at because we know where he's at. And
Well, you got his phone like what do you call that?
Life 360.
Well, do you still
No,
have
like
that
you-
for him
like-
now?
You know, like
What's that?
You have that for him now? I mean, he's,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
20
like
something
where
years.
he's at. It's like shows up.
Yeah,
on
he's 20 years old, but the biggest thing is he also works. He works in malls, and he works hours. Eastwood Mall. He doesn't get out of work till maybe 9:30, 10. There's been a lot of shit that goes on up at those malls. People get jumped in parking lots all the time, and I think it's more so for my wife. Now, I've taught my son how to stand up for himself. It takes a little bit for him to get coaxed a little bit, but he is a first degree black belt. I have full confidence that he can defend himself to the best of his abilities because he's done it before. But yeah, I mean, different day and age.
So
too.
you're telling me he hasn't broken no rules?
I would say no, because I mean, as a parent, we can't stress more than enough the fact that nothing good happens after midnight. With
Well,
him.
what role have you broke as a parent? You know what I
Oh.
mean? Like, because I mean, I'm going to say this. I'm dealing with a daughter, okay, and and my wife and I are doing the best we can as a team to do things, but we don't agree on some of the things that we want to set. So the conflict, when I say what am I breaking rules, my biggest rule is when you get involved in something, a sport or whatever it is, you don't quit
Right.
in the middle of it. You're going to see it to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've gone through a couple things and, we now making some transitions, Hallie is, but I had to make her stay there
Mm-hmm.
until you finish the season.
Right.
Then we're done. We don't ever quit
Mid-season.
mid-season.
Right.
And then the phone thing, like it is so hard for me to get my daughter to do shit that phone to her,
Life.
it's life.
Yeah.
Honest to fucking God, it's life. Now, I want to take it away.
All right, but
Okay?
wait a minute.
Wait. I want to take it away, but I can't because, we can't do that because she needs her phone when she goes here. She needs her phone when she does this. And I say, no, I'll make it a brick in 2 minutes. I'll get on the site and her phone will be a brick in seconds.
Wait, okay, but here's the ultimate question. Well, I can't really say, but like my situation was different from both of you guys. But if you set a rule, does your other half support your rule, or she goes against you and more or less
No,
go towards
she doesn't go
to your
against me.
daughter or to your son, saying, "Okay, well, I don't care what you think. I'm letting
No,
her
it's
do
not
this."
like that. I mean, it's definitely not like that. It's definitely not. That is disrespectful. And there's no disrespect like that going on. But
No, that's not
There's-
disrespect. No,
that
you're
is
going,
disrespect.
No,
Yes, it is.
no.
If your wife,
You're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
Yes.
If your wife says to you that what you just said to our son, that's not going to go. That's not going to happen. And she does it in front of your son. That's disrespect.
No, she's picking sides. That's not
disrespect to you.
What? Yeah, in a sense, but I don't think so.
It's
It's just
disrespect
that. But
to
I'm
you.
saying she don't got your back. That's the point. What I'm trying to say.
That is for us to take care of behind closed doors where the kid's not around. But if she does it in front of your kid and if my wife and I are trying to
What's
tell
stutter?
Hallie to do something and she goes against it,
Well, yeah,
right
I mean,
in front of Hallie, that's
to me-
disrespect.
To me, I
That
feel like
doesn't go on.
I feel
That
that
doesn't go on.
I feel that if you set a rule, then your other half should abide by the same rule and say, "Yeah, I support you on the rule."
Yeah, I
but
agree
then
with that.
if she goes and says, "Well, I don't see that's a big deal. Why are you making it such a big deal?"
Okay, you can say that to me, but you don't say
Say
that
in-
to me in front of the kid.
Well, sometimes
That's where it gets
sometimes
disrespectful.
that can't be
Because
helped.
what does that tell the kid?
Well, another thing that
What does that tell you?
another thing that pisses me off too is when you say that nothing's said between the spouse, you and your spouse, but your spouse allows it. So you've already set the precedent. You've laid the ground rule. Give me your phone. You're not getting your phone back. You're not getting your phone back for a week because we've done that with Gage. And 3 days later, he has his phone.
Well, there you go. That means
And
she
I'm
didn't
like-
support you. That's the same thing.
And
So who gave in? You or
Chris,
Okay, so Chris is the one breaking the rule
right,
that y'all thought you
Right.
said.
right.
See, that's why I say that's what I was saying before earlier. Is I said you guys are in a different boat than I was because
Well, we know that.
I could say the rule, but I'm not
You're not
living
there.
together.
You're not there to enforce it.
Yeah, so I could say, hey, don't have them do this, and then I go my way, I go live in my house, and then they go in their house, and then she changes the rules, and all hell will break loose.
Well, that's the way it was, for me. I mean, going back to myself, was I had rules at my grandparents, but not rules when I got home. But now we're on to what rules are we breaking as parents that our parents would have never broken. And I think to myself,
Well, I think that's a rule right there. Just what we're talking about. I think back in the day, I think there's unified fronts. I think
more so than there is today.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
More so.
you're right.
There's unified fronts, and that's the way. I think that's why our generation has turned out the way it has, in the sense that when there was a rule made, there was no strain from it. Whereas now, and I'm going to say this very loosely, and it's not demeaning, we have too many parents out there that are trying to be their kid's best friend instead of be their
You know
parent.
what? I see that. I see it.
I tell you what. I told my son, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm your dad, and we'll have plenty of times to be friends later on in life when you're married, you have kids, you're successful in your career. But right now, when you live under my roof, you are my son. I am not your friend, nor am I going to be your friend.
I tell you one thing. I got a nephew that I'm real close to, my oldest brother's oldest son, and he was always around me when he was a little kid. And I always spoiled him. One time he called me up. He said, "Hey, Zio, what are you doing?" I go, "Not." Why? He says, "Hey, why don't you come up to a place on 46, the Manor?"
Yeah, I know where the Manors
He
are.
says, "They got the best wings, about this. You just, beefed it up." He says, "Come on." And, he says, "My treat, whatever." He goes, "And Dino's going to be there. My other nephew, my sister's boy." I said, "Okay." So I went up there, met him out over there. So we're drinking. I mean, he's pounding him. He's like, he's doing what? I go, "Oh, man, slow down." I said, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "What?" I go, "You got to go home." I says, "You're going to get lit and then you get pulled over. Then what?" I said, "Then if I'm here, then I got to hear your father saying, 'Well, why you didn't say something?'" I said, "Chill out." I says, "Enough is enough." At that point in time, he looked at me like I wasn't cool.
Who the hell are you? That's probably
No, it's not who the hell are you. It was like, man, I thought you were the cool uncle. It's like, now you being like,
dad.
like, yeah. Oh, my brother. He's strict with him. But but now here's me. I was breaking the rule because when I was his age, and mind you, it's not like he was young teenager. He was like in his 30s.
I was going to say, he's got to be legal to drink.
Yeah, he was like in his 30s, but he was pounding them. I'm like,
well, that's just
I broke my own rule because you know what? I always said, hey, when you're out to have a good time, let loose. And I broke my own rule. And
I wouldn't even say
I was like being
you were being responsible.
Yeah, being responsible. Like when I wasn't responsible at that age,
Right.
I broke my own rule.
Well, I think that's a good thing, and I wouldn't necessarily state that as you're breaking a rule, but it fits as breaking a rule based on how you've been. But at that point, you're just being,
Yeah,
you're
but see,
looking
the
out
thing
for
is,
the
I
guy.
was like, but the thing was, I was the type of guy, when it was time to go out and have fun, drinking and have a good time, you don't think about, hey, watch what you're drinking. You just go out to have a good time. And I hear I'm being Mr. Strict. Like, okay, well, I didn't do that when I was out his age, drinking or being responsible. Now I'm telling him to be responsible.
Well, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. Now, I think for me, my biggest rule breaker is the talking back. My daughter talks back like you wouldn't believe.
No.
And
No.
I tell you what, man, if I talked like that to my grandparents, even my mother, my mother didn't have many rules for me at all because she was raising us all on her own and she was working a shit ton. So I was just kind of left with the babysitters and whatnot. But if I would have talked to my mother the way my daughter talks to us sometimes,
I've been spitting out chiclets.
holy shit. Yes, chiclets, or is that what it is? Chiclets?
Spitting out chiclets, man.
Chiclets are coming out, okay? So when I say, and Becky will say to me, you going to let her talk to me like that? And I have to pause and be like, Hadley, don't talk to your mom like that. I mean, what am I going to do? Because
Let's rewind.
okay,
Okay, so she said to you, Becky said to you, are you letting,
you're going to let Hadley talk to me like that?
why she has to ask you that? And why
That's just how women are. That's just how women are. That's what they do. And it,
Oh, not my wife. Both of you know my wife. But, I mean,
but that's how a lot of women are.
Okay, Kevin's going for the fourth trophy.
Are you gonna let her talk to me like that? Like, okay, well, if I go at her hard, because she's neither one of them, Becky or Hadley, is gonna like how I now come back at them.
Oh.
Okay, it's gonna be Matt. You're going overboard. No, she just said what she said to
you're
you.
being a dad. You're not being her friend, and that's the whole thing, man. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, what about you?
Oh God, no! And when the vein pops out in my wife's neck, get the hell out of the room, dude.
I mean, Gage, did he get you?
Oh, my son bowed up on me one time.
What?
Fist clenched down here,
Get out.
and I said, "Try it." I said, "Try it. See where it gets you." And he was right here in my face.
How old was he?
This was last year. Last year, right when we got out of high school. When he was getting out of high school, he thought, "I'm graduating high school. I can be the man of the house," or whatever he thought he was going to be. I said, "I know you're angry," and that's what I said. I ain't here to be your friend, man. I'm your dad. I said, you're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to talk to my wife or your mom like that. I said, matter of fact, you're not going to talk to anybody like that you're related to. I can tell you that for one thing, because I said, if I find out that you did, I said, you and I are going to go out in the backyard and we'll put the gloves on and we'll go a couple rounds and then I'll show you why you won't say anything like
Don't
that.
bare knuckle with that shit.
Oh, no. See, listen, it happened with my ex-wife. I get a phone call.
You fought your ex-wife?
Oh my God!
No.
You fought your ex-wife.
My wife,
He don't give
ex-wife. Yeah, okay, I got you right here. But she called me up. She says, "Hey, you have to come to Austintown Fitch High School guidance counselor office." I'm like, "For what?" She says, "Well, he wants to talk to both of us about our son." So and at that time I was working down.
I think you told me the story, but go ahead.
Yeah.
So
I've heard it.
I had to take time off, go over there. So,
You take time off
oh yeah,
from work?
yeah. Believe
Get
that?
the fuck out of here.
Oh,
right,
Lord
go
help me. So we get in the counselor, they're waiting in the hallway. I get there. I go, well, I miss it or is it over? She says, no, we were waiting for you. I said, okay, fine. So I looked at my son. I go, is this good or bad? And didn't say nothing. So we get in there and I guess he's getting mouthy with the teachers, And then he started answering back. I go, listen, I'm here to listen to what this guy has to say. I don't want to hear a peep out of you. You open your mouth and you're going to pay the price. She goes, oh, quit being so, she's saying, quit being so forceful.
Who? Your wife?
Ex-wife.
Ex-wife.
Okay.
I says, so he's listening, he's talking. Oh, he's a fucking liar. My son tells the counselor. I go, okay. First time was a warning. I said, that's all you're getting. I said, this is it.
You were swearing like that?
Yeah. So I said, one more time. I said, you're going to pay the price. The counselor was talking, and then he goes up. I flew across the table, picked my son up. I had my forearm in his throat. He's dangling off the floor, his feet. I was holding him up there, and he was not breathing. He was, ugh. I said, did I make myself clear? I said, I'm tired of your mouth. Shut the fuck up and let me hear this guy talk. And I looked at bottom at her. So you got a problem with this? So I put him down. I said, I'm going to put you down. You open your mouth. They're going to take you out of here hurt. Put him down. He goes,
You didn't meet the Austintown Police Department after that?
no. So he ended up going outside. He says, I want to go outside. His mother says, I need to go have a smoke. Then he went and followed her. the guidance counselor told me, says, Mr. Pace, I wish more parents were like you.
No,
He says that there's chaos with these young kids. I says, yeah, I know. I said, my son's an asshole. He's an idiot. I said, and that's because of his mother. I says, that has nothing to do with me. I don't raise him. There's no rules or structure with her. I said, there never was, never going to be.
Yeah.
So that's going back to what we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but for me, it's like, because I have a daughter, I feel like I'm going to let Becky handle the hardcore discipline. Because if my daughter was a son, oh my, it'd be a lot different.
oh yeah.
It'd be a lot different. But so I just I try to help and I try to make things right and better, but she's a girl, and I know where I'm coming from. If she was a boy, you're in big trouble. But
Okay, but see, I got something that you guys don't have. Now I remarried, and my wife's got kids. So now these are not my kids. But you know, like when you see something that's not right and you kind of want to voice your opinion. So in the beginning of our relationship, I kind of bit my tongue, you know, because they're not my kids. But as we went further in the relationship, and we've been together for a good bit, I got to a point where I was tired of hearing this shit, tired of seeing crap, you know? So, and then I voiced my opinion. I remember one time her son motherfucked her. I went off the couch, grabbed him, put him up against the wall. I says, say you're sorry to your mother. Apologize. Didn't say that. So you either apologize or I'm going to whoop your ass. And he apologized and he ran out of the house. But when I had him up in the air, and I went the same thing like I did with my ex-wife. I went to her, you got a problem with this? But I knew she didn't like it because just by the look on her face, she didn't like it. And she's got a daughter, you know, so there's things that I seen that I didn't like. Well, you know, I took the daughter to the side and kind of like talked to her because she's very sensitive. I talked to her, and mind you, I only said a couple, like 2-3 words, and this girl's bawling. I'm like, oh man, this is not going to end well. And so before it went to her, I said, listen, I talked with your daughter about things, and I explained it to her. I says, it didn't go good. I thought it would. I thought she would understand, but it didn't. So I gave her a heads up. So if it comes back to you and you got a problem with it, then we'll discuss it. But, you know, my wife, she didn't say nothing. I mean, she kept it like, you know, to herself and stuff. But I could tell. So, you know, after those incidences, I just backed off. I didn't say anything. I'm like, you know what?
You're still in a position where you really can't. You're not there every day. Like Kevin and I are with our kids every day.
But here's the thing. You're gonna love this.
I hope.
Oh yeah,
You've been talking now for about 10 fucking minutes.
Okay, but listen, this is kind of like has to deal with what we're discussing. My wife that I'm married to now, that's her son. He came up to me in front of his mother and said, "You know, Vito, I got to admit one thing. When I was a kid, I was a real dick to you." He goes, "Now I know how it felt, and I'm sorry. I deeply apologize."
Good. But
And I'm like,
most people aren't going to recognize
and I'm going like,
most people are never going to do
but
it.
here's the twist.
That's a good thing.
Here's the twist. I go, "Oh, what do you mean?" He says, "Well, you know, I got stepkids." Well, he's engaged with the
Good luck
girl,
with that.
this girl, and got 3 daughters. Got the oldest daughter, giving him a hard time and stuff like that. But he goes, "Now I know how it felt." So basically, you know, you can say something, you know, can't say nothing, you know, depending on the situation. But like when it's your own kid, it's different versus stepkids.
Yeah. Well, Kev, I lost track. I don't know where we're at here with where the question was. You got anything to add to this?
No, I mean, I agree with those.
Same
No.
rules, you know, it's the same thing. When you said
I lost track of what the question where we were.
Let's just put it this way. Everybody, you guys know my wife. You know, our friends know our wives.
Talk back.
And
Talk back. We were talking about talking back.
yeah.
Talking back.
But
that's right. Okay.
There's a lot of people that are friends of ours that have, you know, kids that are, you know, 8 to, 13, 14 years old. And when we ever go out to parties and the kids are start acting up, it's a funny thing. I think we might have all had one of those people in our life growing up. But we get the funny one going, how would you like to go over to Mr. and Mr. Watson's house for a week or two? Meaning discipline their kids and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And, I don't want to say we're strict disciplinarians. I think we're on the same page. Nothing gets by us. My son knows that he will never, ever be able to go tell me one thing and tell my wife another and get away with it because my wife and I are on the same page. And I think that's what's been a successful parenting tool for us about, laying ground rules and sticking to them and stuff like that.
But who sets the rules? That's my question.
We both
Is it both you guys
Both of
or
us.
just like you
No,
and
both
you?
of-
Or
No. For him and I,
it's-
both us and our spouse set the rules.
Oh, okay.
But there's always going to be one who wants to enforce it more than the other.
Right.
That's just natural.
So are you the enforcer or is it Christine?
I'm the enforcer. I want to be the enforcer, but do I get overruled a lot? Yes, I do.
My wife
Do you get overruled?
My wife, it never gets to me because I tell my wife this, we're going to set the rules and we're going to handle it together. But I said, if it gets to me, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
So she's the enforcer, but you're the one like last resort type of deal.
It's not
like,
last resort.
No. It's just like you don't like
If
I
you
like-
get
you don't
to-
want to get to that.
If you get to that
Right.
point,
Yeah.
you
Like-
dealt with that as a kid. You
Oh.
don't want me telling your dad.
Oh.
Your mom going, you don't want me telling your dad.
Yeah, my mom was worse than my dad.
Okay. You don't want me telling your mom.
Oh, she was the worst one.
wait till your dad gets home. Remember that
Yeah.
phrase?
Oh yeah. Okay.
That was the phrase, and that's a phrase that was with my.
Belt.
No, it wasn't a belt.
Well,
In
that
my
was
house,
my book.
In my house, we got bounced off walls. There was no belt. There was no, hey, you got grabbed, you got thrown up against walls, you got the shit kicked out of you. And it didn't take very long to figure it out that you don't want to go to. But I will say this: 18 years old. It's hard for me to talk about, but it's something that I'm going to. 18 years old, senior year, got done with baseball, going into football. Our gym floor had a huge water leak and they had to tear out the gym floor. So it was extra money. So what I would do is I'd go in morning for practice. After practice, I'd go into the gym, take out planks of wood, whatever it is, go back to practice, and then go back and finish up if there was still work being done. This went on for 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of practice, which were 2-a-day practices. Guy calls me up week before our first game. I'm like, no, I'm not going to work anymore because I'm preparing for games. Guy calls me up 8 o'clock at night.
Oh.
Says, hey, I need you to come in and work. We have a couple guys that are short, and I know you'll be there after football practice. I said, I can't do it. I said, I've got other things I'm going to be doing. Hung up the phone. My dad goes, who is that? I said, well, it was the foreman who wants me to come in and work after practice. And he goes, you told him no? I said, yeah. And my dad goes, why? I said, because I got other things I need to do, and coach needs me to focus on this. I said, that's it. I literally turned my head back around, and there was a full can of Pepsi coming flying at me. Now, mind you, no, it gets better. Mind you, now my dad's coming at me, and my dad's hitting me with open hands. And he hit me about 3-4 times, and he cuffed me upside the head. I wheeled around, closed fist, popped him and dropped him. He popped back up, got on top of me, started beating the hell out of me. My brother was trying to pull him off. As soon as I got free, I was out the front door, down across town. I ran across town, 3 miles across town to a buddy of mine's place. My mom was calling all around to all my friends' place. Finally got a hold of the friend that I was at. She said, come home. I said, no, I'm not going home. She said, come home. I'm coming to get you. You're coming home. Got home that night. When I got home, my dad wasn't there. Sat down, was watching TV, just trying to calm down because I wasn't going to sleep. All of a sudden, my dad walks in. Sitting there, and he sits down. He grabs the remote control. He shuts off the TV. He looks at me and he goes, you know, He goes, not the right way for someone to become a man, but you became a man tonight because you stood up for yourself. What I did was wrong. And what you did to me, I deserved. I broke his jaw in 3 places.
Damn.
And the trophy goes winner. Four times.
To this day,
Damn.
when my dad passed away, and this is 8 years ago, when my dad passed away, I got a phone call from my brother at 3 a.m. And I'm thinking, my dad's passed. My brother gets on the phone. He goes, hey, I'm here with Dad, and Dad wants to say something to you. And I'm like, okay. So I get on the phone and I said, Dad, what's going on? He goes, nothing. He goes, I just want to tell you. He goes, I'm proud of the man that you become. I'm proud of the husband that you are. I'm proud of the father that you're going to be. He goes, I just hope you can forgive me for that one night.
Oh,
Week later, he passed. So the closure that you have, I mean, parenting is a whole different ballgame than what it was when we were growing up. Growing up now, like I said, and I'm going to continue to say it for those people out there: don't be a friend, be a parent.
Yeah.
oh, listen, I'm not like that because
And you have to be, and because I'm telling you right now, it's the hardest thing in the world, because at some point you want to be liked as a parent.
no,
But I would trade being liked being a parent rather than being loved being a parent.
I'm
10
different
times
in your book. I'm different in your book because I haven't talked to my son in 2 years
Well,
because he
that's
did wrong. Yeah, I know, but he broke the rules. He
Okay.
broke the rules, and you know what? I ended the book.
We could talk for 2 more hours on that, but we're
Yeah.
getting towards the end here. So I think this is a good point to get into winding this thing down here and get into our pour of the night, even though I have been myself sitting here sipping on some bourbon tonight. But I've got something a little different to bring back to the table. I went back to a place that I've been to before, got myself a beer. It's a beer. You know those what was it, the cotton balls that I brought here the last time?
Cotton candy.
Cotton
Was it
candy.
cotton ca- yeah, cotton
where
candy,
that
cotton
Harley
candy.
Davidson
Yeah,
place.
cotton candy. I don't know why I say cotton balls. Cotton candy.
Yeah, you thinking about something?
Cotton balls. Cotton balls. Anyway, cotton candy. So I went to something different here. I went to a watermelon infused blonde ale that they have. I have not tasted it.
That's kind of summery.
Yeah, it's a summery drink. I went and looked at Biker Brewhouse's menu of what beers they might have for the summertime, and this is going to be a water-infused blonde ale. Now, the brewery describes it as it tastes like a liquid watermelon jelly rancher.
Jolly Rancher.
Jolly Rancher.
Chili.
Jelly, not jelly, jolly.
Still trying to be Santa Claus.
Yeah. So,
I'll pass on that one.
how often do you eat Jolly Ranchers?
Oh shit! The last time I had that when I was a kid.
Yeah, my daughter eats Jolly Ranchers all the time, but I like the green ones, the
Sour apple.
sour apples. So, but anyway, let's just see how this tastes. I don't know how this is going to go, but when you open it, give it a smell. It should smell pretty good. I know because that
Melon balls.
melon balls.
Yeah, here you go with the balls.
Melon balls. It's all about the
You're
balls.
getting water all over
That's
your-
all right. Don't worry about that. It ain't gonna hurt. It's all about the balls, man. It's always about the balls.
That's what I say.
It's always about the balls. Now, this doesn't smell as good as the
Cotton
candy one. The cotton candy one, man, as soon as you open it, you could smell it.
Smell the blonde in there.
I don't smell anything. Maybe it's because I've been drinking bourbon.
Smell cucumber.
All right.
Cucumber balls. What the hell?
Here we go.
You two know what you're talking
Shandon.
about.
Come on. Shandon.
Chandon.
Oh, boy. I don't know. Might take a few minutes for me to
Oh,
I can
there's the
taste it.
watermelon.
like this.
Yep, I can taste it.
Yeah,
yeah.
watermelon came right out.
It's good flavor.
I don't know. Maybe I ruined it by drinking bourbon up until now. That's probably why I can't. Well,
Taste buds are kind of.
so that's a whole different liquid right there. Well, let me get into the last question that I think is good to reflect on. if your kid asked you someday why you raised them the way you did, what would you actually say?
So you could be a better person. If I would have raised them the way I did, that I did.
So you can better the the next generation. I think I would agree. One thing we do agree with is that. I mean, I mean, you never want your kid to make the same mistakes, and I think that's why we protect them. But sometimes you got to let them make the mistakes. But as long as they learn from the mistake, that's the biggest thing. So I think, for me, I think it's just to be a good person, keep people on the track of being a good person. You know, I mean, you take a look at how kids are raised today, like I said, versus the way kids were down there. And you're a product of your environment sometimes. I'm not going to say all the time, you're a product of your environment sometimes. But the one thing that I can tell you without telling the whopper, I've laid my hand on my kid one time, and it was at 5 years old, and I spanked him on his ass. I've never had to lay my hand on my child.
Oh, I can't say that many a times.
But you know what? It was to change a culture of what I was used to. I told myself that I was never going to be like my dad, and by God, I'm not. I am who I am because that man made me, but I'm not the same person he is raising me. Mm-hmm. I want to be a better person, and I felt that was one thing that, my brother and I have conversations about this all the time because he's got a daughter and two boys.
Yeah, but the thing is, you got to look at too. The way I was raised up is completely different than the way my son was raised up. You know what I mean?
That's normal.
He grew up. Oh, that's not normal. He grew up in a.
Yeah, it is.
I grew up with parents. He grew up with one parent. I had structure. He didn't have structure.
Even if you had all that, you still grow up differently because it's a different time.
Yeah, different time. If you take the elements of cell phone, I mean, we didn't have this when we were kids.
Which kudos to you. It didn't go off tonight. I'm proud of you.
Oh yeah, I shut the whole thing
No,
down.
it's not over yet.
I shut the whole thing down. And but I mean, I kind of thought about some of the things I did over time. I was raised different compared to the way he was raised, and I should have let up a little bit. But you know what? I wish he was grown up under me, because he would have been way better than what he is now. I mean, he could be mad or whatever. I don't care.
Well, you think that. You hope that. Now, for me, if I had to tell Hadley why I raised her the way I did, I would tell her, based on this entire show that we got into. I grew up with no rules. I made a shit ton of mistakes growing up because I didn't have rules. I didn't have somebody that I had to answer to. Okay? That was my worst thing in life for me, not having to answer to nobody, because then I just did shit on my own. So if I had to tell Hadley why I raised her the way I did and why I was rough on her, if she even thinks that, which I'm sure she does.
Yeah, but one thing
let me finish. And the reason I did that is because I want her to not make the same mistakes that I did. I made terrible mistakes.
Right.
Because I had no rules.
All right, Barry, you had no rules, but he got his ass beat by his father. I got my ass beat by my parents. You didn't get your ass beat?
No. The only thing I got was my dad, when he would get mad at me for the very short period of time that I actually lived with him, because my mom and dad didn't stay married very long. For the very short time that they were married, and the visitations, the going to my dad's house on the weekends and whatnot, the worst thing I ever got was the finger to the face. And I'm not going to do it to you, but when my dad would get pissed at me and tell me something, he would put his finger in my face. And his finger would go in one cheek and almost come out the other.
How about your grandfather?
So my grandfather, I didn't have to, because he had rules. There was respect there.
But you mean you didn't break no rules under your grandfather?
Oh, no. I broke rules under my grandfather.
You didn't get caught.
But I didn't. There was no. He handled
hard
it.
to
No. He handled it differently. He handled it like a father. He handled it like a man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So did you get spanked?
No, I never got spanked. I didn't have to. Because here's a grandfather. He doesn't swear. And when I come home late one night and he's standing in the kitchen, like I've already said, and the light goes on, he goes, "Where the fuck were you? You know you fucked up."
Right.
Okay, you know that. You don't
But-
have to. You don't
but-
have to get hit to know you fucked
So,
up.
but you never got spanked.
No, no.
Wow, that's
I mean, I think maybe my dad did. My grandpa never did. He never had to, because I knew when I fucked up. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, that's
like
that's
the
what I-
person you have the rules with. You know when you know that.
nah,
The person you don't have the rules with, you do whatever you want because you know nothing is gonna happen.
right.
So to get back to what I'm saying is, my daughter, why'd you raise me that way? Because I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. I want you to be the best person that you can be. And someday you're going to take the discipline that I tried to put in you that I never got, but I wanted to put in you. And hopefully you do a better job than I did with you. That is my goal.
Right.
Hopefully someday she does a better job with me.
Just don't
Did my-
steal bikes.
Yeah. Just don't steal bikes. But did my grandfather have to put his hands on me to teach me a lesson? Absolutely not.
No.
It's a whole
Put his hand-
different.
You're going a little beyond.
Well, I-
put
what
your
you
hands.
said.
It just
What do you
gives
go
spanking.
beyond. That's what you said.
Oh, but saying spank you.
Is that not putting your hands on me? Come
not
on
like
now.
it's like you're acting
on.
like it's more.
No, come on. It's the same thing. No, he never had to put his hands on me. He didn't have to because he had structure in my life. That's where I got it from. Okay? Kevin, you understand what I'm saying.
Well, I don't.
I know because
Help him understand that.
because I had hands put on me plenty of times. So I
Well, you have rules. You got hands put on you. I got rules. I got hands put on me. Well, you have rules. You don't want to put the hands on you.
Well, I didn't have to, like I said. But my dad, he would put his hands on me, but I still want to fucking do it to you. I still want to put my finger right to your freaking face. He would come up and he had this thing called a zappa. You know what the zappa is?
yeah.
It's the little mustache
Yeah.
or the little facial hair that's under the lip.
Yeah.
No mustache, just a zappa. And when he would get pissed,
A what?
called a zappa. Anyway,
You know, Doc Holliday, take off the mustache. Point it
just that little thing right
Yeah.
there.
right. So when he would get pissed, that thing would stick straight out, and I knew the finger was coming.
Oh, so you put his lip together.
Oh, he would tuck that lip in, and that, you know, I don't know if he watches this or not, but he would tuck that lip in, and that zappa would come out, and I'd be like, oh shit, here comes the finger.
I learned something today. A Zappa. Never heard of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
called a zappa. But anyway, that's it in a nutshell. I think tonight was great. We all had different perspectives on rules and growing up. You know,
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong about it. It's
No.
just you grew up the way you did. You had rules.
I don't regret it. I mean, I'm glad my parents were hard on me because you know what? That made me into a good person. I'm not saying I'm a bad person. I'm not saying I'm a excellent good person. But the point is, I did okay.
Yeah, I think I did okay. I do. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not perfect by any means, but I do think I turned out better than some people that lived the life that I did. Might not be doing so well.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I feel confident that I'm doing the best that I can with my daughter, even though I am having conflicts in how we do things with Becky. But it is what it is. We all do. We just got to manage that.
I mean, I
as
think it's
dads.
hard. I think it's a little bit harder with a girl versus a boy because I got a stepdaughter I adopted, and you know what? I didn't have no.
Well-
I had no say so because I didn't know too much about. There's things that just wasn't in my wheelhouse that I knew too much about. It was just like she handled. You're the girl. You're the woman of the house to handle it. You know what I mean? But
No, this show isn't about being right. It's just about being honest. And if this is a conversation that you want to keep listening to, by all means, keep listening. Respect your time because time is earned too. So like and subscribe and come back for more.
adios.